Good evening and welcome to this very interesting topic that we're going to be taking up this evening, the never-ending story. And we are so fortunate to have not just one speaker, but two speakers with us, and they are not from UK. So I'm going to introduce briefly our two speakers. Firstly will be Brother Golo, who will be sharing, and Golo is a very experienced meditation teacher, originally from Germany. She spends half of the year in Germany and half of the time he's in Atabike headquarters in Rajasthan, and very much involved with the work of the Brahma Kumaris to do with solar and other alternative forms of energy. And he's also part of our BK delegations to our UN annual climate and environmental conferences. So he's going to share first, and then Sonja will be sharing. So I'd like to introduce Sonja as well at this point, so then I don't need to come back again. So Sonja is the director of the Brahma Kumaris in Denmark. Again, a very experienced meditation teacher for nearly 40 years. And she works also in the prison service in Copenhagen as a meditation teacher. And one of our main instruments to develop the BK environment initiatives, which she'll also share a little bit during her talk. So without further ado, I welcome our speakers to share their thoughts. Thank you.
Hello, good evening to everybody, and welcome to our talk today. The title of the talk I'm giving today is The Never-Ending Story. And I was inspired actually for this title by a German fairy tale story. And it's by an author called Michael Ende. And he describes the story of a young boy who finds a magical book in a bookstore, and then he opens the book and he gets drawn into the history. And in the book, the story is described of a world and of an empress, and slowly the world disappears and only a little corn is left over. And then the empress tells to the little boy, "You have to give me a new name, and then a new world will be created." So he gives a new name in his mind to the empress, and a new world is being created. And the title of the book is The Never-Ending Story. And I got inspired about that, and I will talk a little bit about the cycle of time, which is a very interesting topic and which you will find all over the world in many mythologies and many religions. I will talk also a bit about science, what science tells us about cyclicity. Then very briefly a bit what we are doing in Brahma Kumaris, how to have hope facing all these rapid changes in the world, and how meditation can help us, and how powerful our mind is in shaping the world we would like to see in the future. So without further ado, let's start. And okay, here we come. So let's go straight to Hinduism, because in Hinduism you have a very interesting concept. Here you see a picture from the Sun Temple in Konark, and it's actually the Wheel of Time. And in India, very ancient civilization, there is the concept of a cyclicity of time, and they have divided the time into 4 ages: Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga, the Iron Age. And interestingly, now we're in Sangam Yuga, the Confluence Age. And interestingly, this corresponds also to the Greek mythology, where they also have the idea or the concept of cycle of time. And there they call it the Golden, Silver, Copper, and the Iron Age. And in Christianity, very interesting, you have the hell. Apparently we are right now in the hell. Then comes God's judgment, and afterwards comes the next paradise, which should last approximately 1,000 years as per Christianity. So you have also bad times right now, which merge into good time. And in many native religions in the world, you find this idea of cyclicity of time. So the concept of linearity of time is a modern concept, and got actually invented only 200 years ago by industrial scientific revolution, and is a rather new idea to humanity. Before that, everybody was thinking more in cyclicity and repetition of good and bad times on planet Earth. And so in India you have this idea of the cycle of time. You find it in many other religions, and in Brahma Kumaris also we teach the 4 ages, the cycle of time, the Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and the Kali Yuga. And interestingly, the Satyuga, if you translate it, means the age of truth, which is very interesting. And Kali in India is a very fearsome deity. She's riding on a tiger. Have you seen it? The Kali? No? Her main temple, I think, is in Calcutta. And she's riding on a tiger, and she has a chain around her neck with the heads of the demons, and she has 2 swords which are bloody. She's riding on a tiger, and her red tongue, she stretches out her red tongue. And she's a very fearsome deity, and she is settling the karma. You know, she's the judge of the judgment day, and that is the age of Kali we're right now in. So as per all these ideas, we have a good time on planet Earth, then a bad time, and then again a good time is going to repeat and come. So let us see a little bit what science is telling about, and I would like to introduce to you Sir Roger Penrose, a very well-known mathematician from Oxford, professor, retired, and he suggests a very interesting theory. As you know, science believes in the Big Bang theory. So they say in the 70s they found out that the world is actually expanding. And they saw all the stars are expanding from us, and the universe is expanding all the time. And then they say they will, mathematically now they could formulate a formula where they go back in time to the moment of creation, or the moment where all this expansion was in a point of energy, and that is called the singularity. And here you see a very nice picture of that, and you see here this little spot, this is the singularity. Then there is a sort of rapid expansion, the Big Bang explodes, and we're now here right at the end where all the galaxies and everything has formed out. And the interesting thing is, nobody so far came up with a theory what happens before the singularity, where matter was condensed in a point of energy, and what happens at the end when all the galaxies are formed out. And he made a mathematical formula. It's quite interesting. So matter is expanding and expanding and expanding, and there comes a moment where there's no more energy left, and matter comes to a standstill. So matter doesn't move anymore because there's no more kinetic energy in the atoms to expand the universe any further. It's a mathematical equation. And interestingly, mathematically, this is exactly the same equation as the singularity. So the beginning of the universe and the end of the universe mathematically are the same. Time and space doesn't exist because matter stops. It's very interesting. So he says The world is going through, he calls this whole phase an eon, an epoch. And he says the world is going through epoch after epoch after epoch after epoch. And his book stirred up quite a lot of discussion in the scientific circles, because he's the first one to suggest what happens before a Big Bang and what happens at the end of that development. It's quite interesting. No? And if we look in the history of science, we can see there's a lot of discussion going on about science and all this. And here you see all these famous people from Newton to Einstein and Max Planck and all this. And interestingly, modern science started with Newton and his theory of gravity. And it was a sensation because in the 18th century, suddenly we could calculate the position of the stars and the movement of the stars in our solar system. So it was a sensation. And then Einstein came and formulated the theory of relativity. And thanks to Einstein, we have the atomic bomb and many achievements. But then in the 20s, they found out that Einstein's theory is applicable to the big things, but not to the microscopic, not to the small one. And that's when they came up with quantum mechanics. And quantum mechanics has helped us to develop computer chips, the findings of modern medicines, and so on and so on. Meanwhile, they use also quantum encryption, and they can produce two particles at the same time, hundreds of kilometers apart, and they talk with each other faster than the speed of light. So what happened is these two theories so far are not matching. And science is still searching for the unified field theory, which explains everything. What happens in the big and what happens in the small. So science is still searching a lot. And recently I came across a discussion of scientists, and I found out that science is not clear at all what is actually going on. And there's still a couple of forces like dark matter, dark energy, which they cannot explain. They simply cannot explain it. And I came about a book from Katie Mack. It's called The End of Everything. It's a very interesting title. And I read the summary, and she says there are 5 ways the universe can end suddenly. One is the big crunch, one is the heat death, one is the big rip, one is the vacuum decay, and one is the bounce, which is the pulsing universe as per Penrose. And all these 5 methods, they actually differ quite substantially. And I've seen a discussion of leading physicists about the nature of universe. And one says, no, it is a string theory. And it is like spaghetti. And then the other said, no, it is a pulsing universe. And then the third one said, no, sir, it is a multiple universe. There are millions of universes, multiple at the same time. So science is not really 100% aware what's going on. But what we can see is that the end of the world somehow has entered mainstream. Nowadays, if you look in the news, here and there, you can see that term, the end of the world is coming up. And it's quite interesting to sum up about science. Here I found a very humorous description of the history of science, which I would like to read to you. Aristotle said a bunch of stuff that was wrong. Galileo and Newton fixed up things. Then Einstein broke everything again. Now with the Mediterranean, it's very, very bad situation. One heat record after the other, super drought. And nowadays in summer, the grass becomes brown, which never happened before. And why this is all going on, you see here a graph about the tipping points in climate. So since 150 years, we're burning fossil fuels, first coal, wood, and all this. Atmosphere was absorbing. Now we have changed the composition of our atmosphere, and the temperature has gone up because of that. It's called the greenhouse gas effect. Sunlight can come in, but cannot be reflected out as before. CO2 is acting like a greenhouse. Now planet is 1.3 degrees up. And because of that, the jet stream, which you see here, this one, they have started to change their behavior. Because jet stream changes, we have high pressure system and low pressure system, and they don't move anymore. Suddenly we get 6 weeks of heat, or we get 6 weeks of rain. You know, very suddenly. And there's no more change like before. And because of that, many other systems become unstable. You can see here the ice sheets are melting, the forests are on fire, and the tropical reefs disappear, and the monsoon and also the Atlantic circulation, they all start to change. And these are the tipping points in climate. Once they start changing, nothing can stop them until they find a new balance. And we have triggered, I think 12 tipping points are there, we triggered 8. means 8 are moving already and shifting. So that's why it's so difficult situation, and the outlook is quite dramatic. You can see here a maize field in Germany is just maize is corn in Germany, just super drought, nothing comes. Forest fires near Berlin, the River Rhine in summer, no more water in it. And this is Florida when the seawater level has risen 20 meters. Many of our coastlines will also disappear. And Antonio Guterres said climate change has gone out of control. And Sir David Attenborough told us the collapse of civilization is at the horizon. So this is a very dramatic outlook, and it actually matches also with this idea of the cycle of time, that at the end of the cycle we come into a time of trouble and transformation. So you also feel we're in a time of trouble and transformation. Fast changes are happening right now, and you open the newspaper and it's like, oops, what is going on? We are in transition very fast, and there are many, many indicators. We have a lot of war and tension in the world. We have economic downturn, cost of living crisis, climate change, loss of biodiversity. Everywhere we get signals of fast and rapid change. Now, for a person, this can be very frustrating and very challenging to face all these facts. But what is most important, we should keep our happiness and we should keep our optimism. Why? I will explain a little bit later, but here you see two animals which are extremely optimistic, I would say. One is the elephant, which is jumping in the air, you know, is a 500-kilo elephant, and he believes little monkey will catch him, and little monkey is there and says, I will catch big elephant. So both are very optimistic, and this should be our mindset, you know, because we should be happy, we should have a smile on the face, you know, and whatever happens outside, it should not affect us. So, after having said this, now let's come a little bit what Brahma Kumaris is doing. We are running an environmental initiative, and I'm very happy also Sonja is here. She is the initiator and founder and chief secretary of our Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative, and since 15 years we go to United Nations climate conferences, and we advocate the connection between our inner world, our emotions, feelings, our consciousness, and our actions and climate change. Basically we say the world is a mirror of our actions, of our awareness and consciousness. So we try to inspire people to change on the inside. And then we also advocate the 5 R's, rethink before you buy or do, reuse as much as possible, reduce, recycle and refuse. And we all know what we can do, use a little bit less air conditioned, segregate plastic and this and that separate, you know, small steps. All we know what we can do to protect and save a little bit environment. But of course our politicians, they have to do the big steps. So, and of course we also advocate a vegetarian or vegan diet, and you can see here meat production consumes a lot of energy. So for the future of planet Earth, absolutely important, we go to vegetarian or vegan diet, absolutely a must. And Brahma Kumaris is also very active in the field of renewable energies. You see here our solar system in Shantivan. We're a recognized solar research center, and this solar cooker cooks 35,000 meals a day and was built by our own team. So we have 5,000 meditation centers in India and 500 are equipped with solar system. And the headquarters of Brahma Kumaris, we have a lot of these systems. We have solar cooking and also photovoltaic systems. These dishes were also built by ourselves. They concentrate the sunlight, generate heat in the focus, and there we have a receiver and water starts boiling. It's the same effect when you use a lens and make a little fire with a newspaper. I'm sure you have done it once in your life, no? Okay. So here you can see a photovoltaic system in our Om Shanti retreat center near Delhi. You see here is a 400 kilowatt photovoltaic system. Here's also solar steam cooking system. So this place is energy autark. And here in another picture, you see our India One solar power station. You see here 770 dishes. You see here photovoltaic also. With these dishes, we concentrate the sunlight on a receiver. We produce steam, and the steam goes in the turbine house, which is here, and drives the turbine. This project was a £10 million project. We got 50% funding from German government, 25 from the Indian government, 25 from Brahma Kumaris. And the speciality is we can store the energy overnight. So now we have seen Brahma Kumaris is doing lots and lots and lots of good deeds, good actions. I will not show you more because time is ticking, so I have to move ahead. And the big question now is, okay, we can do good actions, but what about our mind? You know, Brahma Kumaris teaches positive thinking, be loving, be compassionate, but does it have an effect beyond my own body or my close relations? Now the question is our mind entangled with matter? Do we have any effect into the physical reality? This is the big question. I would share with you Ellen Langer. She's a professor in Harvard. And Ellen Langer did a lot of research in positive thinking, positive psychologies, study on aging, decision control. And she's a very famous author, very well known. And she did experiment in 1979 with 20 old people about the age of 80. 10 people she put into a normal building of this age of 80, and 10 of these old people she put in a house which was designed in the style of the 1959. So she asked these people, you read newspaper from 1959, you see black and white television news from that time, you read the books from that time, the food, the cloth, everything, even the furniture was from 1959. And she said, even you talk on the situation of 1959. After 1 week, she compared both groups. And the result was quite stunning. Those who were in the house designed of 1959, all their chronic diseases disappeared. They kept themselves erect. They became much more clearer. Their speech was more clear. And some of these old guys or old people said, I want to leave this old age home. I want to go and travel around the world. Just 1 week thinking that you're 40 years younger made a huge difference on the body. Many of the chronic things, sugar, blood pressure, this and that, it all came down, and their speech, memory, everything improved considerable. It means our mind has a very, very, very big impact in our aging process. That's what she found out. This has been replicated. She did also a very interesting experiment with students. It was a crossword experiment, and she took 50 students, and 25 students had a positive crossword puzzle to solve, and 25 a negative. Give me some positive words.
Happiness.
Happiness.
Love.
Love. Success. Huh? Optimism.
Joy.
Joy. Success.
Flowers.
Flowers. Okay. And then 25 with a negative one. Give me something negative.
Anger.
Anger, war, jealous,
Chaos.
diarrhea, hair loss. So many bad words. And then she did something with the students. She sent them in the next building in the 3rd floor. And she sent them one by one. And you know what happened? She had a camera there and she stopped the time. So the students with a good crossword puzzle, they walked up there and they went up the stairs. And then came the people, the students with a bad crossword. They all took double the time. And when they walked up the stairs, they walked like old people. Without that they were told anything. All of them were slower than the ones with a positive crossword puzzle. So just imagine 2 hours positive thinking, loving, happiness, 2 hours negative thinking. What an effect on your body and on your energy level. Isn't that interesting? So your mind has a massive control, massive impact in your system. But then there was another question, is our mind also connected to the physical reality? And there was a very interesting experiment in 1920 which drove science crazy. Because when scientific revolution was there and the mechanistic worldview came, about 1800, science was telling us God does not exist, and whatever you think, whatever you feel doesn't matter at all. Because science is science, and we can explain it and we can repeat it, and there's nothing to do with us humans. And then 1920 they wanted to find out what's the nature of the world. And they did this experiment here where they have a light source, they have a screen, they have a wall with 2 holes, and they have a screen. And so what they did is, in one possibility is that light is a particle, the other possibility is that light behaves like a wave. So What do you think? Is light a particle? Who believes light is a particle? Nobody. Who believes light is a wave? Okay, majority believes light. You're both not right. Because sometimes they got the result of light being a particle, and sometimes they got the result it behaves like a wave. And do you know what influences the outcome of the experiments? It is us, the observer. If I observe the experiment, light behaves like a particle. If I shift my attention somewhere else, light flips and behaves like a wave. And this drove them a little bit crazy, because suddenly the observer has an influence in the outcome of the experiment, something which was not supposed to happen. And this was a big, bitter pill for them to swallow, because suddenly they had to unite and they had to acknowledge that the mind, our thoughts, have an impact on physical world and experiments. So since then, this is one of the groundbreaking experiments. You can look it up. The double slit experiments is in the internet. Since then, science is more or less agreeable that mind has an impact, and there have been hundreds of experiments since then where they found out our mind is shaping the world. All the time we observe the world, and all the time we shape the world. So our thoughts and visions do create reality. Isn't that interesting, that we have such an impact in the physical realm? I want to show you something practical. We have a sustainable yogic farming project in India, and we worked for 10 years with 5,000 farmers and a university together, and we teach to the farmers meditation, positive thinking with the seeds and with the land. So the idea was to have every day 10-15 minutes positive thoughts in the morning and evening with the seeds and with the land. I love you, you're very good, you will grow very fast, no bug will come, you will be very resilient, and so on. Do you think there was any impact? Do you think they grow better when you love them? See the results. Here, yogic carrots, chemical carrots, organic carrots. So the yogic are the biggest and the most tasty. And no bugs are going there, no fertilizer, less water needed. Can you imagine? And here you see the result with wheat, and you see with meditation, and you see without meditation. Isn't that interesting? And the results are so stunning. They have been sort of published in a agriculture magazine and confirmed by the university, that now we're selecting 70 farms, and we'll use them as prototype farms where we apply yogic farming, and the Indian government is interested to adopt yogic farming in India. Isn't that interesting? Because you can grow more, the plants are more resilient, you don't need fertilizer, they become bigger, farmer is happy, plant is happy, soil is happy. Isn't that good? Everybody wins. And how we do it? Just by loving positive thoughts. Something which science told us not long ago, it doesn't have any impact. So what it means, we look into the world, and our thoughts, they shape the world, they form it. You meet a person, you think, oh, I don't like him very much. Then the person will feel it. Or you see a person, you say, you're okay, you're good, my friend. Person will feel it. You know? So we create all the time an energy field around us which corresponds with the other energy fields of other people and reaches out in the physical reality. So what happens in the world is a mirror of our collective consciousness. And this is the new paradigm. My inner world and the outer world are connected. So this brings us to Leonardo da Vinci, and he said, realize that everything is connected to everything else. So we're all interconnected. And whatever you thought, whatever you think, it matters. So what we have to do, think positive on yourself. In the morning, I'm very good, I will be perfect, I'm loving, successful, my bank account is full, and my car is running, and everything will be beautiful, my plants will grow, this, that, whatever you want, you wish it in the morning, and you make it firm in a meditation. Then love the others. Give them blessings whenever you see a person. Also those you don't like too much, give them also blessing. And thirdly, think positive on the world. Love the world, give positive outlook. And then with the blessings you become a healer. Now the big question is how to become a healer. That's a big issue, no? How to heal yourself and heal the world. I would like to share a little bit about our Dadi Janki, former head of the institution. She died 2 years ago. She was 103. Many of you must have met her, no? You met Daddy Janki? No? What a powerful soul. She was many times here, no? Yeah, I can imagine that she came many times to this place. And Daddy always was a source of inspiration. And she told us, become an angel and be yogi, be loving and compassionate, be healer for the world, and be a guide to the light. And so what she actually taught us is that we should control our mindset, our thoughts, our emotions, and our visualizations. But sometimes we're not able to keep that positive vision or that positive mindset because we're connected to the karma of the past. And that makes it sometimes tricky. And the karma of the past, Daddy gave a very nice explanation. She said, there are 3 signs. You want something and it doesn't work out. You know, you want to become I wanted to become a famous opera singer, but then I came in contact with Brahma Kumaris and all my dreams and hopes got squashed. And so I want something, it's not working out. You have sometimes the experience, you want something, it's not happening. Huh? It happens to you. I want to become healthy, famous, strong, successful. It's not happening. Second is, you don't want something and something suddenly happens to you. 2 weeks ago I lost my mobile phone in a very odd way. I had no chance. And there was my credit card, driving license, ID card, all codes, everything was on that mobile, it's gone. Very traumatic. Suddenly something happens. That happens to you, accident, suddenly you get sick, you lose something. Happens to you? Here you are. Yeah, or COVID, that's the sign of karma. And the third sign is you're suffering from interaction with relatives or friends. That's the third sign. So you're sometimes suffering in interaction. Relatives at home, friends, this, that. They don't like you, they don't respect you. Happens. Any of these things happen, this is the karma of the past. And we have to settle and deal that. And when you meditate, you're dealing with the trigger points of this life, but also trigger points and traumata of a past life. This is why it's sometimes tricky. You want to become positive, but it takes a bit time. So now how to deal with the trigger points of the past? Science again came up with a lot of evidence about the power and impact of meditation. So if you meditate regular, they did a lot of research, it increases your social competence, you love yourself, you love others. It deepens relaxation, improves health, increases brain cells and activity, and it changes habits and awareness. This is something special. When you meditate, your brain starts growing again. And you change and overcome the old trigger points of the past. And so that's how meditation helps us to free ourselves from old habits and from the old awareness, and also from the old trigger points and the karma of the past. So we're all meditators. We are very, very, very advanced people because we're practicing a method to relieve ourselves from karma of the past. So meditation and a change of thoughts are cooling the mind and create a new reality and a better world. So what we have to do is we have to imagine a beautiful, perfect world. So how do you all remember this beautiful song of John Lennon? Imagine all the people. How is the text? Living together? Huh? Living all? Huh? Come on. Living together in peace and harmony, something like that. No? You see, I'm my voice, great singer. Should have come. I missed that chance. So anyhow, because of karma of the past, so he was singing about that. So we have to visualize our perfect world because we've seen our thoughts have an impact and they shape the world. We have an impact into the world. We're not powerless. They're very, very powerful. Very powerful. If you become aware of your creative potential, you can change, heal your body, but you can create such energy, vibration that you heal the world. So what's the most important emotion, the most important feeling? Love. That's most important. Huh? So here, love is most important. When you love yourself and you love the world, peace comes, harmony comes, beauty comes, perfection, purity, bliss, happiness, prosperity, timeless and just. In other words, if we visualize the next paradise, the next golden age will come, the next Satyuga will come, because mind is above matter. And this gives us power and strength and helps us to develop our full creative potential. So we also have a very nice webpage called Yogis for Future, in which we have collected 150 meditation commentaries, 8 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, and after 1 week you will find a very profound change in your mindset and in your inner state. And these meditation commentaries are in 10 topics: meditation for the self, for inner peace, for relation, meditation for nature, and meditation for your heart. 10 different topics. Have a look. Yogis for Future, it's a webpage. You can download an app, and it's all free of charges, and you can meditate in the morning. You can load it on your mobile phone. So I come to the end of this presentation, and I hope I'm staying within my time frame. And I have given you an overview, very fast, very condensed, about the cycle of time and the never-ending story. Because as you remember, Sir Roger Penrose, we are going through Big Bang, eon after eon after eon after eon. And this corresponds with the Indian mythology, with the Greek mythology, and many others of the cycle of time. So we should be hopeful and positive. And if you're hopeful and positive, you act and you do things. Brahma Kumaris is active in the field of environment. We go to UN conferences. We're active in the field of renewable energies. We do research. We do new technologies, clean technologies, and we share it with the people and try to teach them in this technology also. And in the second part, then you have seen that beside all of that, we also do a lot of projects like yogic farming, where we teach the farmers to become loving and compassionate for their work, but also for the seeds and for the land. And you have seen that such a positive mindset has a profound impact into nature systems. You saw the Ellen Langer projects with the aging. You saw about the crossword puzzle, how powerful is our mind and changes our energy level of our body immediately. And you have seen the double slit experiment, that our mind is actually all the time connected to the physical world. So now what we understand is our mind is a powerful tool. Love yourself, love the world, and have a vision of a beautiful, perfect world, a Satyuga, a golden age, or a paradise, and all your dreams will come true. So we have also web pages where you will find all the information. This is the Yogis for Future. Here you will find about solar. There is our environment webpage. There's a lot of information about our activities, what we do, a lot of guidelines for eco-friendly lifestyle. And here our Brahma Kumaris main webpage, and you always can come and meditate here at the center and experience the peace and the tranquility and hone your mind in the art of love and compassion. So I hope you're inspired, and I would like now to call Sonja Ohlsson. Sonja has been introduced, and Sonja will take it from here onwards. Please, Sonja, come.
This one, the red.
It's already on.
Which is the red marker? This one.
Yeah, the front. So please, Sonja, take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Golo. Thank you very much, Golo, for your presentation. And I like to connect to some of the things that Golo was speaking about. And we'll do it through experimentation, meditation, yeah? So this concept of time has always fascinated me, so I love this title, The Never-Ending Story. And we have the spring, we have the summer, we have the autumn, they have the winter, and then we have this special time between winter and spring. So that's another way of describing the cycle of time. You see here would be the spring, and here we have the summer, and after half the cycle, something drastic happens. You see here, you have flowers, and you have growth, you have spring, you have summer. And when we come to phase 3, the leaves prepare to go back into the soil. And you have winter phase here, the dark phase. That's where, the nature is kind of resting.
And in between, you have a very special time between winter and spring. I'm from Sweden, and in Sweden it's in January. In January is still winter outside, but inside the trees they are preparing for spring. So the dews in the trees start to going up. So that's why it's called 5, it's the end of the cycle, and 0 means the invisible new beginning. And in Golo's presentation he was talking about the Sat Yuga, which is this spring. Treta Yuga is the summer, and then Copper Age and Iron Age. And I thought we could meditate on that, right? Because as individuals, we have our own springtime. In the back of the mind, somewhere, is a deep memory of when you as an individual were in your springtime. So I'd like you to experience that. And then your summertime. And then we'll have to go through Copper and Iron Age, autumn and winter also. And I know in Brahma Kumaris, we often meditate with open eyes. But this time I'd like you to close your eyes, also you online. And here is very simple squares, you see it's just green. So in a sense I will invite you to fill that space with your imagination, with your vision, with your feeling. So maybe we can have some music. And when we come halfway through the cycle, I will ask you to open your eyes again. And then we take the second half. And then finally we go for the last phase. Okay? You ready? You ready for spring? Good. So you sit, close your eyes. And you sit straight on the chair. And you imagine you're an angel, or you're a bird, and you're flying. You're flying on your wings of care and compassion. You're flying on your wings on trust and faith. And you fly across the horizon of time. And you fly into the future. And you imagine yourself in the best day of all days. You imagine this perfect world, this springtime of your soul. In the best day of all days in all your lives, when you wake up in the morning, what is your first thought? When you wake up, this best day of all days, in the story of your soul, how do you feel like? And what would you like to do that day? The choice is yours. And when you look yourself in the mirror, how do your eyes look like? And when you meet other people, how do you greet each other? Everyone around you is also in their springtime, in the golden age. Can you see nature in your inner eye? How do you connect to the most beautiful nature of all? And like this, you walk through life after life with your friends, and the springtime passes and becomes summer. And you enjoy the summertime of your history. And you don't know anything else, only this. Can you see the summertime of humanity? And slowly, I'll ask you just to open your eyes a little bit and look at the picture and prepare yourself to walk through autumn and winter. And in autumn and winter, my karma sets in. I need to struggle from time to time, and I feel cold from time to time. I feel lonely from time to time. But the memory of spring and summer will support me. And the journey can also feel long, and I become tired, and the winter is setting in. Now I'm getting so ready for another springtime. I'm getting so ready for change. I'm getting ready for the light. Before another cycle starts, I will have to let go of everything around me. So let's get ready for another cycle, for another journey, for another time, by letting go of everything around me. Let us free our spirits and open up for a new spring. And we can do that by letting go of all my senses and become like a soul seed again. So imagine yourself like you're now. Imagine the soul as it is, a point of light. But you can't see any longer. You're blind. I let go of my sight. I'm still myself, but I can't see anymore. How is it to be me? And then I let go of my hearing. I can't see and I can't hear, but I'm still me. And then I can't taste and I can't smell, but it's still me in here. And finally I lose touch also. But I'm still myself. Become a soul seed. I'm free and I'm light. And as a seed of light, I open up to the Supreme Soul. And together we get ready for another cycle, for another journey. Together we create spring again. I create it when I see it, when I feel it, when I imagine it. So slowly you take the senses back on again. One by one, the touch come back and the smell and the taste come back. The hearing and the eyes, the sight. So I invite you to open your eyes and enjoy your senses again. And with the appreciation of one journey, I prepare for the next. And we take a deep breath and enjoy the breathing and the peace. And I say Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So thank you very much for doing that journey with me. Thank you. And I think Golo will come back here and we can share some experiences or have question and answers. And enjoy this beautiful cycle together.
If anybody have a question, please raise your hand.
Actually, I have a friend in Oxford and she works as a psychologist, and she was telling me that a majority of her patients at the moment come to her with climate anxiety, and that seems to be a kind of new expression. And I asked her, what do you do actually to help people with that kind of anxiety? And she has said, okay, like what you were saying, teach them more positive thinking, but what do you do with people who come with this kind of anxiety, almost panic, because they see the changes in climate? Can you further elaborate on that?
We actually met her also. Mel, yeah, we met her and had a very interesting discussion with her. And we also see at the climate conference more and more people which are desperate, frustrated, who have anxiety, and who are having not a positive outlook for the future. They don't see a future. So, well, we try to inspire these people to build up their inner resilience and to create a positive mindset, because positive, loving, peaceful mindset always helps you to take good and powerful decisions. So the approach is twofold. One is we try to inspire through our own good example, do something good for the environment, plant a tree. We have, for example, in India, a big tree plantation campaign called Kalptaru. We try to inspire people to plant seeds of hope. You know, plant a tree here, plant a tree there. It's a very nice symbol. You can set up a little garden. You can have some flowers in your room. You can, whatever you can do, there are many, many steps, small steps where you can help the environment and you can help yourself. Then, of course, we are inspiring people also to adopt meditation as a very powerful tool for self-transformation and build up inner resilience and strength. And then, lastly, we are speaking to people about true nature of the self, that we are beings of light, that we are immortal, we are Atma, souls, and whatever we see in front of us is a transition process and something beautiful and new will come. And many times we see when we speak and give this spiritual input to people that their face lights up, suddenly the darkness goes away and they think, okay, this is the big picture, that we're in a transition period and this is something new and beautiful will come, and I'm an immortal being of light and I'm not helpless, I'm powerful. So this is actually the approach which we're having, and it depends, of course, to the readiness of the person to accept and also be ready for personal change. So this is also, of course, our input, and the readiness has to match also, that there will be some help for the person. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah.
Thank you for the question, and it's a very interesting. And we do all the Golo explain, but sometimes also it's a question about accepting the realities we're living in. And if you go back to this picture here, it's winter, and we'll have to accept the climate change, we have to accept the corruption, the injustice inside, so I don't fight it all the time. So I'll have, through accepting the present reality, it's winter, I will have peace. But then I will also have strength to dress properly and to start engaging in the world again. I can do by this notion of I'm creating a new reality in the way I engage positively with the world. So acceptance, and then re-engaging with a positive mindset. But whatever you whatever you resist will persist. So.
There's also acknowledgement from one of our online viewers, Cynthia from Argentina, says that she had met you, came across your talk, and so glad to see you. So there's people watching us internationally.
Oh, wow. Hello. We're from Argentina.
Yeah, Cynthia.
Oh, hello, Argentina. Wow.
And about 100 plus views.
100. Yeah. Welcome our online listeners all over the world. Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Energy is convertible. Energy cannot be destroyed.
Yes.
The energy of the Supreme, what we have been discussing, the energies of Supreme has got so much power, so much glory. It's all the time cycle and everything, the movement of the stars, the universe is done by energies of the Supreme. Even there are billions of gallons of water in Pacific Sea, the energies of Supreme drive the wave. It's not the scientific energy, not the energy created by machines or rockets or anything. It's the Supreme energy. So one must respect the Supreme energy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone
Right,
else? Yes.
there's one more question from the brother. Yes.
One of the comments which you have made earlier is about healing the body through
Yeah.
meditation, healing all the diseases. Can you explain further how does it work or share any experiences?
Yeah, my brother is a general practitioner in Germany, so many people come to him, you know, I have this, I have that, and 50% of the people, first of all, he listens with a smile, and he says, it's not that bad. And then 50% of the people he sends back and says, you take a herbal tea, and you do a little bit like that, and a little bit like that, and if it still is there, then you come back. Of course, if it is something serious, he treats them, but he understood that a lot of problems people come to in the clinics are mental problems, you know, which express then in a certain disease. And I had personally also some experiences that some 6 months ago I swallowed a tablet and it went in my lung instead of going here, and I thought this is not a big problem, and 3 days later I was on the operation table and they had to operate that tablet out of my lungs, you know, which was quite a story. And the moment I understood that I have to go for an operation, I accepted each and everything, and I said I will be fine, everything will be okay. And 4 months later, means my lung got pretty much damaged, but 4 weeks later I started diving again, you know, and I couldn't feel much. So the overall experience in science is also, and there have been many results and experiments. For example, you have a very positive mindset. The number of your white blood cells, your white blood cell count is increasing, and your vitality is increasing, and also your resistance, your resilience to bacterial infection is increasing just by having a positive, loving, compassionate mindset. This is already, a lot of experiments have been done, and one of the most famous experiments, of course, is the placebo experiment, you know, where they tested painkillers on people. So half the people, they gave real painkillers, and then they checked if the people really don't feel any pain, and half the people, they gave sugar pills. But they didn't tell who get the sugar pills and who get the real tablets. And interestingly, the people who got the sugar pills, they had the same effect like the people who got the real painkiller. And then they did a research on the pain receptors in the nerve system. And the painkiller blocks the receptors in your nerves. And when you take a sugar pill and you just believe that it is a painkiller, also your receptors in the nerves are blocked. It's exactly the same effect. It's called the placebo effect. And it has been tested many, many times. And any good doctor knows about that, you know, about the placebo effect. So here you are. Our thoughts, our vision is very, very powerful. And if you have a positive outlook, you can heal yourself to a great extent. Of course, when you have a serious problem, like I had with my lung, or you break yourself or this or that, always go to your doctor and go for medical advice. But have a positive mindset, and it will accelerate any healing process quite significantly. All right? Okay.
So I guess all of you join me to thank our wonderful speakers. It was very informative, scientific-based information along with spirituality. It was total balance and a mix, so beautiful. And beautiful examples shared and a lovely experience. And I'm sure you remember the examples about the various tests that had happened, and some of the things that I'm taking and underlining is just the beauty of positive thoughts and the importance of positive thoughts, and underlining virtue, quality, power, whatever you want to call it, is love, right? That heals everything. And there's few products I'd like to mention. One of the book on the elements is healing the 5 elements, heal ourselves, we heal our planet. And one thing goes very well with the topic, it's called Flash Time, and it's about the cycle of time, and 7 secrets of universe. So normally we announce one product, but I just could not resist announcing all these. And there's various other things, products we have in our shop in connection with today's theme about cycle of time. And just to let you know that our talk next week is going to be about setting boundaries, taking back control by Sister Paru. And every Monday and Thursday we have a meditation which is online and in person. You're welcome to join us from 7 to 7:30. This coming Saturday we have stress-free living from 2 to 4. It's a standalone session from 2 to 4. So you're welcome to join us for that. Again, that is only in-house, it's not online. That one you need to come here. And some of the things, more things to take from the talk is really, if you're not already practicing plant-based diet, then it's time we do that. And it's not just for spiritual reasons, but also for environmental reasons we should do that. And so once again, thank you for coming, and thank you to all our online viewers and those who were able to come here in person.
And we have the cards for them also.
Oh yes, we have lovely gifts from you, and it's on the tray, and please feel free to take information, and it's little cards with positive thoughts, and also information about the various websites that were mentioned. And for those who are watching us online, you also are able to come at some point at the center to get this information, okay? And you can always go online. And this talk is recorded and it's gone on our YouTube Live, so if you want to revisit this talk or any of our talks in the last many months, you can go to our YouTube channel and listen to it. And if you haven't subscribed, I very much recommend you do. Safe journey home, and see you soon.
Thank you.